Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our webinar, Integrity Dashboard, What's New, What's Next, and How to Win with AIM's Derek Lape. Today's webinar will be recorded and then later posted on our website. This does mean that all attendees will be automatically muted so that we get a quality recording. If you have any questions, go ahead and type them into the chat box, and we'll try to answer them throughout the presentation. But if we're unable to get to all the questions, we'll have a member of our marketing team reach out to you individually to make sure you get that answered. Before we get started, we'd like to invite you to join us for our next webinar on Tuesday, May 13th at 9 a.m. Pacific Time. Join AIM's Nisha Catron for No Health Questions, 9 GI products to boost your sales by registering at whyaim.com/training. And with that, I'll hand it over to Derek so that we can go ahead and get started. Take it away, Derek.
Thank you, Jordan. As always, great intro. And thank you for everybody for being here today on this beautiful Tuesday at 9 a.m. Pacific. So today, Jordan already kind of covered it, and I'm sure you all know what's going on or else you probably wouldn't be here. But we're going to be going over the Integrity Dashboard. If you are used to my webinars, you're probably used to them running pretty long. This one should be a bit quicker. Not because there isn't as much to talk about. We could spend all day on Integrity Dashboard and going through the ins and outs and how things work and different areas there. But this is going to be a bit more kind of high level overview, what's going on with it, what it can actually do, and whether or not you should really use it and implement it. And the really great thing about this is it's a CRM, right? We all use them. Every agent has one. We do it in different ways. Some people are still using Excel sheets. Some people have the newest and greatest, top of the line stuff out there with tons of automation and AI help. This is going to be kind of in the middle of those two, right? But it's going to be probably one of the most important things you can do as an agent is making sure your CRM or whatever you're using for your customer relation kind of management platform is going to be huge, right? If you're an agent, whether you're just starting out, you've been doing this for years, and you are looking to scale and kind of build your book of business, there's really two extreme ways to do that. So you can either do it mainly through automation, where you are having, AI and systems in place for follow-up emails, reminders, setting a bunch of stuff, kicking out all the information, taking away a lot of those kind of admin roles and positions for you that you have to do as an agent. And then on the flip side, you can do it by hiring people, right? Whether that's more agents, more administration, whatever the case is, right? So, and yes, there's some in between. You can do a bit of both, right? They're not mutually exclusive, but those are kind of the two ways that you can scale. Having said that, if you are going to be scaling your business based off of automation, one thing you don't want to automate, right, is that personal touch, that agent side. So there are still some things you're going to want to do yourself. AI is great, but it's not the point where it can sell for you, right? It's not going to close the deals for you. It's not going to build that relationship with the customer for you. It can assist in all these things, but it's not going to be quite that personal touch you're looking for. And part of the reason why we're going off on that tangent is because a lot of CRMs, Integrity Dashboard included, are working in AI, right? We're trying to make agents' lives easier, trying to make it for a couple things. One, most people don't get into insurance because, they're going to be skipping lunches. They're going to be working from 7 a.m. until 9 p.m., right? They do it because they want to set their own schedule. And time is very valuable, not only for free time so you don't burn out, but also so you can get into revenue generating activities, right? RGAs, those things that are actually going to be bringing in money. So setting appointments, holding the appointments, going through quotes, talking to your customers, those are all things that are going to bring in revenue. Now, while having a good CRM system is going to support and make all that easier, we're talking about a lot of the tasks that don't really bring in revenue, right? Those birthday reminders, remembering to do follow-up calls, remembering to send emails, right? This is all stuff that ideally you're going to have your CRM system do for you to make your life easier, to give you more time to either relax or focus on RGAs, right? Bringing in actual money. So what we're going to do today is kind of just a quick run through of what is going on with Integrity Dashboard. It's a great product. It's a great tool. One nice thing with it is already a lot different than it was at the start of this year, right? So we're talking, 5 months into the year. They've already added some new tools, some new things you can play with, right? It's really moving along. Integrity is putting a lot of focus and efforts into creating kind of a one-stop shop for CRM use to be able to get everywhere and do everything for their agents. And with American Independent Marketing, AIM, right, us, being an integrity partner, you get a lot of the fun perks of having that big backing, that power, their tools, but still get the personal touch from us and be able to actually call us and talk to us and get case help and information like this, right? So with that, we'll go ahead and kind of jump into it. This is going to be a mixture of some slides, and then we're actually going to go into it live and kind of show you some of the systems in different areas there. Everything should be working as of me checking right before this, but as you guys know, with things being live, some stuff can kind of get some tech issues here and there, so we'll see. But it's going to be a good test to show you whether or not Integrity Dashboard is actually working. So with that, there are a few things, as myself being a former agent and advisor, that I really looked for and still look for in a CRM. And when I have you guys coming to me and saying, hey, what should I be using? What should I be looking for? These are usually what I say, right? So you want it to be easy to use. That's a big one. You don't want to have to go through 50 different steps to get something to work and figure out where somebody is and all these different things, right? You want it to be clear. You want to be able to have notes, obviously, for both, what you talked about, as well as putting personal notes in there for that personal touch, right? Client has golden retriever that they talk about all the time, named Jack, that we can be like, hey, how's Jack doing, right? Something easy that's going to pop up and kind of separate you from other agents. And you want all that to be there and easy to get to. The other things you're going to want is preferably have your CRM tie into some kind of page where people can actually reach out to you, request a callback, request quotes, different things like that, right? Just to kind of help with the automation process. Take some of that off your plate from having to schedule all of it all the time. Also, you want it to work, right? You don't want to have to go in there and have it crashing all the time, no way to get in there, different things like that. That's going to be huge. And then a big one for me that's become more important, and it's growing with every day, especially if you're a smaller agency, you're doing this alone. And honestly, it's going to help even if you have a bunch of admin and agents under you, because it's going to free up time for everybody, is starting to work in a lot of those AI-powered kind of assistants, whether that's going to be chat, the ability to run through and kind of check stuff, and we'll get into some of that here in a second of what Integrity Dashboard has. But those are kind of the big things I'm looking for when I'm looking at CRMs, right? Is it easy to use? Can I get all the information in it that I want? So when you first log into your Integrity Dashboard, this is basically what you're going to see. Looks pretty simple as far as the layout. There's not too much going on that's going to overwhelm you and kind of get you lost in it, right? So pretty simple there. One nice thing is, and we're going to get into this a little bit deeper later, but it does give you a page called Plan Enroll, where you can have a phone number. It forwards it to whatever phone number you want when people call in, right? You can have them request callbacks. You can have them select a certain plan, stuff like that when it comes to the Medicare side. That should continue to expand, and they should continue to add more options there, but it's nice that it does give you kind of a page. And like I said, we'll get into that in a second, right? So that's why it's giving me this ready to connect kind of in the upper middle left of I went in myself as a customer, requested a callback just so I could show you guys what it looks like. Right below you, it shows you, hey, so-and-so with their phone number requested this, they're new, view their contact, give them a call, whatever, right? So that makes that a little bit easier. It's right there on the page. You have on the left side your new people. You can actually break them up into who you've contacted, who you've engaged, what's going on, right? This is where kind of that AI comes into it of this person's going to be super loyal. Maybe it's coming up on, open enrollment, who do I need to call first, right? You can go in here and kind of assign or filter out, okay, I need to call these people first. They're most likely to jump ship if somebody calls them, right? And then not that you're not going to get to the loyal people, but you can probably move them a little bit further back, right? So you can start to kind of organize stuff to have a better workflow and make things a lot easier and simpler for yourself. With this, as you can see, there's going to be your contacts tab up top, marketing, which we'll jump into here in a little bit, just kind of the quick quote, and then I'm available button, right? Once you log in here for the day, you switch it over, that's going to allow your plan and enroll calls to start coming in. If you're buying any leads, that's going to allow them to start coming through, different things like that. All right. So on the bottom right, there was that little Ask Integrity tab. This is going to be kind of like your, hey, Alexa, hey, whatever. I'm not going to say the other one because I actually have Google, and if I say that, it's going to pop up and interrupt us here. But it's going to be that kind of quick ask questions, thing that you're used to having on your phones, computers, whatever. The nice thing with this is it is going to be related to your clients, right? And you can also get this as an app on your phone. So let's say you're heading out to a meeting with, myself, Derek Lape, and you kind of just can type in there or speak to it, tell me about my client, Derek Lape, right? And it's going to pull up a bunch of information with them. Obviously, I didn't put in any of my providers' prescriptions. I don't have any notes on myself, right? But the more information you put in your notes, the more this is going to tell you, right? So you don't have to have an amazing memory and remember every little detail about your clients. This is something that's going to pull it up for you and give you kind of a quick snapshot of, okay, this is what they have. This is what I'm going to talk about. This is what they need. This is some personal notes on them, right? It's going to give you all that, and it's going to save you a lot of time from having to go back through and scroll through all your notes and try and find, the pertinent information you're looking for. So it's a really nice, quick way to kind of get recaps on your clients and kind of prep for whatever meeting or, phone call you have with them, which is going to be huge because, like I said, we're trying to eliminate through automation a lot of that stuff that's taking up time that's not actually generating revenue, right? That stuff that you're having to do all that busy work for, let these systems do it for you. Some of you guys may already have a CRM that does all this, perfect. If you're not using any of these, right, that have this, I would definitely step into the Integrity dashboard and try it out. The nice thing with Integrity is, like I said, it's going to kind of fall in the middle. It doesn't have, as of right now, which they're adding them all, so they should be there soon, but it doesn't have all the greatest new AI already built in, right? It's a new system. They're ramping it up very quickly. It should be there soon, but they're having to build it all kind of from the ground up. So it hasn't been around in some of those other CRMs, as far as longevity, how long they've been there, and they've had more time to build this. So if you're not using it, if you wanted to kind of step into the world of AI and a little bit of automation and cleaning things up a bit, this is a good place to do it because it's not going to overwhelm you. It's going to give you just enough tools to make your life easier without confusing you. And then as you get more used to it, like I said, they should be rolling out more and more stuff for it. That'll kind of come in naturally and you'll be able to keep progressing with it. If you're already using a CRM that's, ahead of this and it has all those fun tools and features and you're using them all, I'd probably stay where you are. Not that this isn't great, but, it might drive you a little crazy to take a step back from stuff you're used to having. On the flip side, it should be there soon, right? So it should catch up. And the other nice thing with all of this is it's going to be free because you're contracted with us through the carriers. We're an Integrity partner. You get to use all this for free. So you don't have to pay those monthly or yearly subscriptions that you're paying for other CRM systems. It'll all just kind of tie in here very nice and neat, and it's free, right? It's kind of hard to beat. So that gives you a quick overview of the Ask Integrity. It is a little bit limited in its function in that it's mainly just going to tell you about clients, what's going on. Obviously, the better notes you have, the more it's going to be able to tell you, right? So you want to make sure you're taking good notes. But it is nice that it's there. It should save you some time. All right. So this is what that plan enroll page looks like that I was telling you about. Basically what it's going to do is it'll create you a little page. You can do a little write-up about yourself. You know, as you can see in the upper left, it has my name, where I'm at. The view more will give you a nice little blurb that you can write about yourself once they approve it, that people can actually go in and see. One cool thing about this is, let's say you have a book of clients, and I'll show you where to do it later, but you can actually import that list of clients that you have into the system, and then you can shoot them out a campaign of getting them to enroll and plan enroll, right? And that'll just give a lot of information, a lot of different things into your system automatically, as far as they can put in prescriptions, physicians, some different stuff that they're hoping to get or looking at or curious about. And that'll prompt you to be able to give them a call back, shoot them an email, whatever the case is. So it's kind of nice to get that synced. This phone number in the upper right is just a random number it'll assign based off of your area code. And then basically what they do is they call that, and then it will forward it to whatever phone number you have. So this can be great for a couple reasons. One, I use my cell phone. I don't really sell much insurance anymore because I'm pretty busy with this. But whenever I do go in there, when we were testing it, right, it shoots it to my cell phone, and then I don't have to give my cell phone out to clients because it's not a work phone, it's my personal phone, right? And as most of you agents know, that can be kind of a dangerous game because you end up getting phone calls at 9 or 10 p.m. at night or later. The other cool thing here is it's just a page. Now, while you do have a page, it is free. This isn't really made to replace a website if you have one or if you were thinking of getting one. I would still definitely get your own website. You can put a link to this on your website, right? But this is more of just a limited spot where it's putting your name out there more in different areas. It should help with search engine optimization, right? The more your name shows up in different places on the internet, the higher up the list you're going to be when people go to search you on Google or Yahoo or whatever, right? So it's going to be a nice little area there that's going to kind of go with things. And the nice thing is it's free, right? Like I've said a million times, this is one of those things that is good to have. This isn't the end all be all as far as, you know, an internet presence, but it's nice that you get it for free. And it's just something that will hopefully send passive leads or clients to you, where someone's on there browsing around plan enroll, they see you're an agent in their area, they, you know, sign in, request for a call back or a quote or whatever the case is. So hopefully it should just kick some more leads to you. Right. And with that, we get to go to the fun part now, right? So we'll see how friendly the technology is being. But this is your integrity dashboard, kind of like I was talking about. Going back to ease of use, the system is super, super easy to use. It's nice and laid out. There's not a lot of different areas you have to figure out with different things. Here's your little live chat if you need help. This is your little Ask Integrity, where I told you can go ask it a question. Preferably, I would do the actual app on my phone, just because it's on my phone. You're on the go. It's a little bit easier, but you still can use it here. It still works, right? It's going to show you your recent activity, kind of what you've been doing, things like that, in a nice central location. You can click on your contacts. Here is where you can import a list. If you have a big list of clients, let's say you've still been using an Excel sheet or whatever the case is, you can go ahead and kind of put them in here in bulk, so you don't have to do them one at a time. It'll create a bunch of different areas for them. You can set different reminders, which is always helpful. So let's say you want to put birthdays in, phone calls, follow-ups, whatever the case is, you can kind of start to automate some of that system instead of just looking at your calendar and figuring out what's going on. All right. And then as far as everything going on here, let's see. You can do different stages of where you're marking people, all that fun stuff. Going through. We do have some different questions going in that I'll get to here in a second. Sorry about that. I was just reading them real quick. So this is where your contacts are going to be. This is a great place. You can do a couple different ways for quick quote. So you can either actually go into the client and start a quote, or you can go ahead and just hit quick quote, right? Both of them are going to be pretty simple, but we'll jump into those in a second. As far as the marketing, this is kind of a fun place where you can go in there and create different marketing campaigns. As far as I have one here for plan enroll, so it'll just go ahead and automatically send out an email to all the clients that I have in my book to get them into it. You can do it for actual marketing. Let's say you want to build a campaign on MedSups, whatever the case is. So it just makes it easier for all those to go in there. Nice thing is with this, you can have some kind of template, whatever the case is, as far as an email to be sent out, whatever you want to do, right? You can have them active. Obviously, I just have a draft going on, haven't pushed anything, and you can kind of go through, and it's going to show you the different stages. This is all going to be really important as far as tracking your metrics. Let's say you did a campaign on long-term care, right, and it's completed. What this will do is give you the ability to go back and see really what your closing ratio was, how successful it was, whether it's worth doing it or not again, right? And actually really tracking stuff. So the fact that you can keep everything in the same area is perfect, right? It's all there. It's all good to go. All right, so let's do just kind of a real quick quote. MedicareCENTER is going to get into things like Medicare Advantage. It's going to have kind of some of those ancillary products on there that are going to go with it that you can choose through. I'm not going to actually run a quote right now on that one, but it's kind of a nice area that you can just get there pretty easy based off a client. The other one is going to be LifeCENTER. So one thing that was new as of probably this week or last week is simplified IUL has been on there a little while now at the start of this year, but they finally did add fully underwritten IUL. Term policies, other things like that should be coming shortly. They didn't give me an exact release date, but it is kind of nice that, you know, at December, January time to start the year, all there was final expense, right? So they are adding more different quote types into the system. Their kind of goal or, you know, ideal situation that they're trying to achieve is getting everything in here to be able to quote everybody, right? So you'll have one place to go to be able to do all this that's in your system. There are a few questions coming in. So ideally, we do want to have everything contracted through us or Integrity. Part of the reason for that is when you're getting in there and you're looking at the carriers for the quotes that are popping up, it's not necessarily going to be exactly the same. Sometimes we'll have exclusives or, you know, certain things like that that you can't get. So it is going to be in there. However, if you are contracted with us, you still can get into Integrity, right? You just have to be contracted. So there is a way to get in there. That makes that pretty simple. And it does look like some people are still having to do some double entries. That should be something they're working on. It should just do it pretty seamless. I know part of with Integrity pushing to upgrade things and add things all the time, it's kind of a double-edged sword. So they're getting in there and creating a lot of cool stuff going through. And with that, some stuff gets kind of broken as they're updating stuff and adding things, and things kind of stop to work. One thing I would definitely do, you know, if you have time, you're probably saying, well, we're doing this because we're trying to save time, is go ahead and jump on live chat or call in if you ever get a chance to Integrity for the help desk for their dashboard and be like, hey, this isn't working. With that, if they start getting enough noise, they should push up the timetable on when they're fixing things, because they're going to have enough people saying, hey, I want this, I need this, this isn't working. You can also bring it up when you're on the phone with us, and we can always relay it to them as well. But it's something that's, you know, when it's in the forefront of their mind, they get on it a little bit quicker, with their main focus being on getting everything in here right away. Some stuff kind of gets little quirks here and there and stops working, but it should be to where you don't have to do those double entries. It should be able to just pull it all in there. I know I've done that before in the past, but things get kind of messed up as, you know, you're fixing other stuff. So, all right. So quick quote you saw, It's a good place to do little quotes. Nice thing is it'll save them all under there too for when you're talking to people. Makes it pretty easy. In the upper right, you'll have either the picture if you uploaded it or kind of just your name. This is where you can look at a few different things. So you're going to have your learning center. There's not too much in there. Most of it right now is going to be documents on actually going in and learning about Integrity Dashboard. So if you are having any issues with different things, that's a good place to look because there'll be some user guides, different things like that that should help you figure out what's going on, or maybe you want to learn how to do something. It's a pretty quick read, and you can kind of skip to the points that actually pertain to you, right? So that should help save some time too, but good resource. Obviously, you have your lead center, which we'll jump to in a second because a lot of people like leads. You can jump to your CSG, right? And then if you have the Medicare stuff with the link and different things, you can jump into it as well. So this is kind of a quick little tool to get different places and see what's going on. I already have Lead Center open just because I wanted to log in before we did this, but normally you would just click here. It'll go ahead and take you over to your Lead Center. Now, one thing that's kind of nice, and if you're logged in, you've probably gotten a lot of emails like I have, but they have different kind of promotions going on all the time as far as sales, X amount off this, certain percentage off that, right? It changes kind of week to week, month to month of what's going on as far as their deals, because they usually have a good fair amount of them. You can kind of do the same thing in here when it comes to campaigns. You can actually build a campaign. So let's say you want to do, we'll just do health for fun, right? And we're going to do internet leads. I'm going to leave it all partners, but I'm going to go to my state, right? And you can kind of keep selecting it down. So let's say you want to go to your actual county, whatever the case is. For those of you that didn't know, AIM is located right here in Yakima. So that's where we are. But one nice thing is you can scroll down. You're going to have a wide range of price points depending on, the exclusivity of the leads, how much they get shared, how old they are, kind of where they come from, different things like that. So you can go in here and you can buy some different leads. It's going to show you how old they are, how many leads there are, their pricing, how many you want to get. If you're not sure, let's say what a Diamond Medicare supplement lead is, you can go ahead and click right here. This is going to kind of explain the breakdown of what's going on with it, right? So that makes that pretty simple. The other side of it is life. You'll get basically the same thing, but there's going to be a few more choices as far as what you want for social media leads and different things like that. And all of this is getting updated. They're adding more and more every day. So it's going to be a little bit different. When it comes to Facebook leads, a bit more expensive, not as many of them, at least for where I am. This will vary a little bit. So some states are going to have a lot more leads than others. Some counties are going to have a lot more leads. So that's just something to look at. If you're trying to get more leads and you don't see a lot, try changing the source, right? And that should give you a bigger kind of pool to work from. So as you can see, a lot more than just those 2 or 3 leads we were looking at. Also, when it comes to this, there's a lot more options to select from versus when we were looking at just those med sub leads. So you can go ahead and get in there. You can build a campaign for leads to start coming through. One issue that a lot of agents are running into when they're here is for a lot of these leads to come through, especially when you have a campaign, you have to actually select that you're available for them to start shooting them over to you. Especially when it's like those warm transfer leads, they're not going to send them over when you're not actually available, right? Because you paid for it, they want to make sure you get it. So that's going to be a little quick rundown of Lead Center, right? All right. So wrapping all this up, kind of like we went through, high level, it is a great tool if you don't have a CRM, if you have a very limited CRM, especially if you're paying for it, right? This is going to give you an area where you can kind of keep your whole book together. It's going to be accessible. It's going to give you some of those fun automation tools to go in there and make things a little bit easier. And we can jump a little bit more in depth on some of those key points when we do the follow-up calls. Because some people know a lot about this, some people don't know much about it, and I don't want to sit here and talk about it for 40, 50 minutes, right? Of something that, a lot of people know a great deal about, just to kind of keep things moving, right? So part of that is going to be really what you're looking for. Like I said, if you don't have anything, or if you have something very limited, I would jump in there and start checking it out and just playing around, because it's free, right? It's somewhere where it's going to have all your clients in the same place. You're going to be able to do some quotes, not all of them, but a good deal, right? Life and Medicare stuff. You're going to be able to have notes, even if you can't quote them there, right? You can use kind of the AI and the campaign tools for them still, right? Even though there's not products there that you can give off of Integrity yet. But it's going to help your life a little bit easier. It's going to free up some time. And then eventually, a lot of those products should be on there, hopefully soon. Like I said, their main goal right now is getting stuff added in there to make sure that you can quote everything you need to, that the AI is doing a lot more for you, that things are working, and that they're not only on par with some of those bigger CRMs out there that have been around longer, but hopefully surpass it, right? And at that point, when let's say you already have a CRM with all the bells and whistles, right? I would keep checking in on Integrity and just seeing updates like this, or asking us when we talk to you of like, hey, how is it? What's going on? Right? Because hopefully you can move over and not have to pay those monthly or annual fees, which is going to be huge. It's going to save you time. You're still going to get the same, experience you're used to, which will be huge. So, just wrapping it up, like we've talked about, it is free. It's a great place to have everything located in the same place, so you don't have to jump here, there. Let's say you're used to just having your clients and all the information stored on, agent portals, Excel sheets, trying to jump everywhere to find stuff. And that's just going to take forever when you go to build campaigns, when you go to do callbacks, when you do different reminders. It just makes everything a lot simpler. But that's kind of a quick overview of where Integrity dashboard is right now. It's, in my opinion, very usable, easy to use. It's a great place to kind of jump in. It's one of those things where if you would have asked me when I first started here about 3 years ago, I was kind of like, versus now, I would definitely jump in there and start using it. It's come, leaps and bounds ahead of where it was even a year ago. They just keep putting stuff into it, which makes it more user-friendly, and is really starting to check all those boxes of what an agent needs in a CRM. So with that, we did have some more specific questions. I'll follow up on phone calls after. So I just want to, say thank you for everybody for being here. If you have a pressing question, feel free to go ahead and call in and ask for me, or, whichever marketer, we can help you guys out. You can always shoot me any emails, right? But otherwise, I will be reaching out. Make sure you guys get, in line for our next webinars. We got some good ones coming up, as Jordan pointed out at the start of this. And thank you to everybody for being here, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.